I'm trying to bring, again, as I said, a summary to the videos and try to connect the dots for people, because a lot of the videos in the series, almost 500, go into a lot of detail. And I know it's going to take time to digest some of the earlier videos. So I felt the need to actually do more of a briefer version of the of the summary through smaller videos that be maybe 5-10 minutes. Some of them are even smaller because we only have to really look at a definition to review. But in this one, we're dealing with basically the necessity to really understand the difference between truth and fiction. When we had read out of a Canadian Law Dictionary, the Gage Canadian Law Dictionary, it's in many of the schools in Canada, the dictionary defines surname as a name added to one's real name, which would definitely pose the question, is the surname real? No. It's non-reality, so it's fiction. It's not something that's really there, but we've been made to believe it's there pretty much through a public education system of armed force. And I'm not going to say it's not surrounding you right now, but we're going to go into Black's Law 4th edition on the definition of hallucination. It caught my attention the other day. So I'm going to read you this, and then we'll go into the next video. But first, I'm going to read you hallucination. In medical jurisprudence, a trick or deceit of the senses, a morbid error either of the sense of sight or that of hearing, or possibly that of other senses. A psychological state such as would be produced naturally by an act of sense perception attributed confidently, but mistakenly, to something which has no objective existence, as when the patient imagines that he sees an object when there is none, or hears a voice or other sound when nothing strikes his ear. An error, a blunder, a mistake, a fallacy, and when used in describing the condition of a person, does not necessarily carry an imputation of insanity. Does not necessarily, but I mean, I would just, when we're going down this, they're very creative or very selective in their wording. You have to really read this thoroughly and play this video back. The next paragraph says, the perception by any of the senses of an object which has no existence. That would be something that's not real. The conscious recognition of a sensation of sight, hearing, feeling, taste, or smell, which is not due to any impulse received by the perceptive apparatus from without, but arises within the perception apparatus itself. A false perception in contradiction to a delusion or false belief. Hallucinations are tricks of the senses, differing from delusions in that hallucinations pass away while delusions remain. When I read this, it brought me to the book of Revelation 21. So I'm going to read you Revelation 21, because it said hallucinations pass away. And I said, are people really in some kind of massive hallucination right now? Are they believing in something that's fictitious, that's not real? And they can actually, like in the movie The Matrix, he's eating the steak, but he says, I know it tastes so real, but I know it's not. And because he's eating it in an idea of a fictitious state, it's not really there. And so that's what the mind is going on. People are perceiving that their activity in this world they live in the fictitious world of legal and monetary gain, has some form of substance, but it's not. It's just a form of fiction. And therefore, you've been made to believe and perceive it through some kind of pretend game that's been played. And now the pharmakeia is out there heavily on the population to make sure they're even more deluded in this non-reality of property ownership and all the things that go on in the legal world. But Revelation 21, 3 and 4 is very, very, very interesting wording. It says, and I heard a loud voice from the throne say, behold, the tabernacle of God is among men, and he shall dwell among them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be among them. And he shall wipe out every tear from their eyes, and there no longer be any death. Now we know the world of the corporate world is dealing with death. It's the whole thing is death. Corp, oration, the dead speaking. There shall no longer be any mourning or crying or pain, kind of like labor pains in the contraction world of legal. The first things or the former things have passed away. Now, we mentioned in this that hallucinations pass away. So is it possible that really the majority of the population are in some massive pharmakia hallucination, blended in with false belief or delusions? That's up for you to decide and for you to morally judge yourself what you're doing, but hopefully this video has brought some clarity.